So by the end of this video, matututunan mo kung paano gumawa ng ganitong klaseng schedule sa Primavera P6. Kahit wala kang idea or hindi mo pa nagamit before yung Primavera. So hindi ko nagpapatagalin pa, start na natin yung tutorial. So before tayo mag-create ng project, let's familiarize ourselves sa interface ng Primavera. On the top, we have several commands that we can use to create schedule. Meron din tayong mga commands dito sa gilid. Don't worry if you're not familiar on all of it. Mamaya malalaman natin kung ano yung mga commands na gagamitin lang natin. Itong buong space naman na to, yung tinatawag nating workspace. And currently, nandito tayo sa project workspace. The space where we can add projects. Sa ibaba naman, meron tayo ditong details pane. I'll also show you later how useful itong details pane natin. So before we create a project, let's create an enterprise project structure or EPS. By the way, enterprise project structure represents the hierarchical structure of all projects in the database. So EPS is very useful sa mga malalaking organization since they're dealing with multiple projects. It's just a way of grouping and organizing the projects. So on this example, even though we're dealing with small project, we can use EPS to organize our projects. So let's create one. Let's click this enterprise, then select enterprise project structure. On this window, makikita mo yung mga existing EPS from existing project dito sa Primavera natin. We will not use this EPS. Instead, we will create one. So let's click add. Yung EPS natin is makikita natin dito under the house projects. So if yung EPS mo, ayaw mo siya maging under ng any other EPS, we can use this button to adjust. So let's click move left or shift left, and then hindi na siya under ng EPS na to. I'll rename this EPS to my company. Sa EPS ID, pwede ka maglagay dyan ng any unique IN. In this case, ang ilalagay ko lang is com. After that, pwede na natin itong i-close. Makikita mo dapat yung newly created EPS dito sa ating workspace. Now that we have EPS, pwede na tayo gumawa ng project. But before we create one, gawa muna tayo ng project calendar. Sa project calendar, pwede nyong iset dito yung inclement weather conditions and non-working days like Sundays and holidays para integrated siya sa schedule nyo. Hindi nyo na kailangang hulaan if gano'ng katagal ang project pag masama yung panahon or maraming holidays. So to create project calendar, let's go to Enterprise, then let's select Calendars. Dito nakalista yung mga predefined calendars sa Primavera. So we can click Add to create new. Dito magsaselect lang tayo ng paggagayahan para dun sa bagong calendar. So let's select 7 days work week. So ito na yung ating new calendar. So let's rename our new calendar as construction calendar. After that, check natin siya para yun yung gagamitin na calendar every time na gagawa tayo ng bagong project. So we can modify this calendar. So let's modify this calendar. So ito yung window na lalabas sa ating modification. So pwede ka dito mag-set ng non-working days and working days. So for example, since ang pinagayahan natin is 7 days work week, ang gusto lang natin is 6 days work week lang tayo hanggang Sabado, and then Sunday is off tayo. So para gawin yon, click natin tong work week. Then dito, select natin yung Sunday and iset natin siya sa 0. Ibig sabihin yan, 0 hours tayo sa Sunday. The rest is 8 hours. So let's click OK, and then magkakaroon yan dito ng gray. Ibig sabihin, that's a non-work days. So for example, gusto naman natin maglagay ng holiday. For example, November 1, December 24 or 25, and then of course, yung New Year. So let's do that. For example, lalagyan natin ng holiday for November 1. So this is November 1. I'll just click here, November 1, and then click itong non-work. So para hindi niya yan lalagyan na activities, yung araw na yan. So let's try another one, this time for November 25. So let's click November 25 and let's click non-work. Next, let's set January 1 as holiday. So, click natin yung January 1 and click non-work. So, we already set kung ano yung mga holidays natin dito sa ating project calendar or sa ating construction calendar. Now, paano naman natin isa-set yung inclement weather condition? So, paano natin siya i-integrate dito sa ating calendar? So, maraming ways para incorporate yung inclement weather condition sa calendar. So, isang nakikita kong pwede natin gawin. So, instead na 30 days yung working days natin sa isang buwan, pwede natin gawing 15 days lang and the rest is non-working because of the effect of inclement weather condition. So, for example, let's go back to September. September, for example, is maaraw na buwan. So, we don't have to modify this. Now, for example, October is maulan na buwan. So, ang pwede natin gawin is iset natin yung kalahati ng October as non-work and yung kalahati is working days. So, this time, I'll select 15 and then hold shift, select 31 para ma-select natin yung from 15 to 31. Now, I'll click non-work para gawin niyang non-work itong mga araw na to. So, on this case, meron lang tayong 12 days na pasok during October. Ibig sabihin lang yan, ina-anticipate mo na kalahati ng buwan is hindi ka makakapagtrabaho because of the weather conditions. Kaya tayo naglalagay ng non-work during rainy months. So, pwede rin natin yung gawin. For example, maulan din ng November. We can click November 15 hanggang November 30 as non-work. So, let's select these dates and click non-work. So, after natin ma-set yung inclement weather months and then ma-establish yung mga holidays natin, let's go ahead and click this detailed work hours per day. Sa detailed work hours per day, dito mo malalaman kung anong oras yung pasok. So, if we select a date na hindi non-work or working days, makikita natin na white yung 8, ibig sabihin 8 o'clock ng maga yung working hours. Hanggang dito sa dulo, which is 4 o'clock. So, ang gusto ko, 7 o'clock tayo mag-umpisa. So, I'll double-click the 7 para maging work siya. And then, gusto ko may break time at 12 o'clock. So, double-click ko naman yung 12, pati yung 12:30 para may break time. So, total of 8 hours pa rin yan. Pero, isa lang yung nabago natin, which is the November 2. Gusto natin lahat ng working days, ganun yung schedule. So, balik lang natin. Click natin tong 2 and then standard para bumalik siya sa default. And then we can click the work week. Dito natin isa-set yung ating working hours. Of course, sa Sunday off tayo. So, let's click Monday and let's select until Saturday. So, gusto natin 7 o'clock ang pasok natin. And then 12 o'clock is ating break time. So, I'll hit OK. And then lahat ng dates na natin dito, ganun na yung magiging schedule. So, after we establish the calendar, we can now click OK and then click Close. So, let's now create a project. Let's click this button to create one. Select natin yung EPS na ginawa natin kanina on this field. So, let's select this Browse button and select Com or yung My Company. After that, let's name this project. So, ipapangalan ko dito sa project natin is One Story School Building. Sa ID, let's type P1 as project 1, for example. So, next, we select the start date. Let's select September 1. Now, let's click Finish. After that, let's go ahead and change the default values. So, make sure na i-click natin itong newly created project natin. Then, sa ibaba, sa details pane sa baba, click natin yung defaults. So, dito, make sure na yung duration type natin is fixed duration per units. Ang percent complete type, let's select physical. For activity type, let's select task dependent. For cost account, wag muna natin galawin yung cost account. So, for the calendar, click natin itong filter and then select global calendars. Select natin yung calendar na ginawa natin kanina, which is the construction calendar, and click Assign. Now that we have project with our preferred defaults, so open na natin yung project. Let's right-click and then open project. So before natin siya lagyan ng activities, gawan muna natin ito ng WBS or Work Breakdown Structure. By the way, a work breakdown structure in project management is a deliverable-oriented breakdown of a project into smaller components. Binabasag kasi natin yung project into smaller components para mas madali nating i-manage yung project. So to create WBS, dapat nasa WBS workspace tayo. To do that, let's click this icon. Malalaman mong nasa WBS workspace na tayo if WBS yung nakaselect na tabs taas. Let's click Add button. Now, think of ways paano mo babasagin yung project into smaller components. Isang naisip ko is basagin siya sa SiteWorks, Structural, Architectural, and Maps. So, let's do that. So, first is lalagay ko dito, SiteWorks. So, next, add ulit tayo. So, make sure na i-click natin yung project kasi if ang nakaklik is SiteWorks and then nag-add tayo ng WBS, doon siya papasok sa WBS na yun. So, ang gusto natin is nandun tayo sa one-story building. So, let's delete this. Then, let's select this project and then click Add. So, dito, lalagay natin is structural. Next, click again. Then, select Add. Then, for this, architectural. Then, last, select ulit natin. Then, Add. Dito ay Maths. Or yung ating electrical, plumbing, sanitary, and mechanical. So, yan yung maps natin. Yung structural, pwede pa natin yung basagin into smaller component. So, for example, if multi-story yung project nyo, pwede siyang basagin into floors. But in this example, since one story lang yung ating project, pwede natin siyang basagin into substructure and superstructure. So, let's click structural, then click add. So, let's rename this to substructure. Then let's select again the structural, click add. This time let's rename this to superstructure. Your architectural, pwede pa rin yung basagin into smaller components. So, pwede mo siyang basagin into wet works, dry works, and painting works. So, let's try that. Architectural, click add. Then, dito lalagay ko wet works. Then, I'll select again the start. Then, I'll select again the architectural, click add. Then, dry works. Then last, select again, then add, painting works. Yung maps, pwede rin natin yung basagin into smaller components. Meron tayong tinatawag na first fix, second fix, and final fix. Yung first fix natin is yung mga activities before tayo mag-conduits or mag-piping. For the second fix, yun yung mga conduiting and then yung piping. Yung final fix is installation na ng outlets, switches, and lighting fixtures. So let's create a smaller components for maps. Let's click the maps, click add. So this is first fix. Then I'll add again. This is second fix. And then lastly, final fix. As we go along, pwede tayong magdagdag ng WBS if needed. For now, yan na muna yung WBS natin. So let's go ahead and go back to activities workspace where we can add activities for the project. When it comes to activities, very helpful na may VOQ tayo since pwede natin lumalaman yung scope and mag-came up ng activities. But if wala kang VOQ, drawing plans will do. So let's start adding activities. So, I'll show here yung BOQ natin. Side by side lang natin. So, para malaman natin yung scope natin. So, ito yung BOQ natin for one-story school building. So, meron tayong, for the earthworks, meron tayong excavation. So, lagyan natin sa substructure, excavation. So, I think pwede pa tayong maglagay ng isa pang WBS under substructure, which is earthworks. So, let's go back to WBS. Select natin substructure and click add. Dagdag tayo ng earthworks. So, let's go back. So, itong excavation natin, lipat natin sa earthworks. So, click natin excavation and then point your mouse here. Then, as soon as the cursor changes, pwede mo na siyang i-drag papunta dun sa isang WBS. Yan. So, dagdag pa tayo ng activities. So, kasama din dyan yung backfilling. Backfilling of excavated materials. Meron din dyan gravel bedding. Embankment. Tsaka soil poisoning. So, bukod sa earthworks, meron na tayong structural works dito. Sa structural works, pwede natin siyang basagin pa into structural member. For example, footing, wall footing, slab and fill, column, beams, and so on. So, punta tayo sa WBS. So, sa substructure natin, yung mga nakabaon nating structural member is footing, wall footing, and footing tie beam. So, let's create a WBS for those structural members. So, lagay ko dito is footing. Then, dadagdag ulit ako ng footing tie beam. Sama na natin sa footing yung wall footing. So, let's go back to activities. So, sa footing, hindi na tayo magpo-forma. So, lalagay ko na lang is rebar works and concreting. Now, for footing tie beam, lagay tayo dito ng rebar works. Meron din siyang formworks and concreting. So, yun yung mga activities natin for footing tie beam. So, sa superstructure naman, meron tayo dyan column, beams, and slab and fill. So, let's select WBS. So, dagdag natin yung mga structural members na yon as WBS dito sa superstructure. So, slab on fill. Then, let's add another one for column. Then, last for beams and girders. So, since typical lang naman yung activities natin for these structural members, we can copy these activities from footing tie beam. Let's select these activities and copy. Then, let's paste it on this WBS. Para hindi na tayo gagawa ng activities. So, kumpleto na yung ating structural. So, kulang pa tayo ng roofing. Wala pa tayong sa roofing. So, pwede ko siya idagdag sa structural as another WBS. So, let's create WBS for roofing. Select natin yung structural. Then, dagdag tayo ng roofing. So, after that, add natin yung activity sa roofing. So, basically, ano lang naman yan? Roof truss. So, installation of roof truss. And, installation ng metal sheets. Or yung roofing sheets natin. Dagdag na rin natin installation of gutter. Okay. So, yun yung mga activities natin for the roof. So, I believe okay na yung structural natin. So, let's go ahead and add activities for architectural. So, based on this plan, meron tayong masonry units. So, for the wet works, construction of exterior walls. And pwede natin lagay dito is construction for interior walls. So, meron din tayong doors and windows. Lagay natin sa dry utilities or sa dry works. Then, installation of windows. So, aside from doors and windows, meron din tayong blackboard since this is a school building. Blackboard. Then, for the finishing works, meron tayong plain cement finish for floors. So, dagdag natin. So, generalize na lang natin yung activity. Plain cement finish. Or, sige, plain cement finish. Then, meron din siyang non-skid. No? So, dagdag natin. Non-skid cement floor finish. So, meron din siyang meron din ito plain cement plaster finish, and then meron din siyang rail guard. I believe yung rail guard, pwede natin siya i-categorize as dry works. So, pwede ring metal works, pwede ka magdagdag ng additional WBS under architectural and then name it as metal works. Now, for the painting works, dalawa lang naman to. Painting for painting works on walls. Then, painting works on ceiling. So, for the MEPs naman, so I think yun lang yung na-cover na natin yung architectural activities. For the electrical works na lang is conduits. So, for the first fix, yung chipping of walls. So, add tayo ng chipping of wall activity. Yan. Then, for the second fix, lagay natin yung conduits. Electrical conduits. So, pwede rin natin ilagay dito. I'm sure meron tayo dito ng storm drainage system. So, although hindi siya included sa bill of quantities natin, pwede natin siyang include sa ating schedule. So, include natin. Then, for the final fix, meron tayo dito, of course, installation of outlets. Then, installation of switches. Then, installation of lighting fixtures. So, that's basically yung ating scope. So, wala namang CR for this structure. So, I guess yan na yung ating activities. Now that we have identified our activities, dagdagan ko na lang ng iba pang activities natin. So, of course, aside from the activities para dun sa school building natin, meron pa tayong ibang activities prior sa construction ng ating project. So, for example, yung clearing and grabbing ng area na pagtatayuan natin ng building, then pagtayo ng temporary facilities, yung mga barracks, and then pagtayo ng temporary board of fence. So, dagdag natin siya as activities dito sa Siteworks. So, let's click add. Lagyan natin dito clearing and grabbing. Next is construction of temporary facilities. Then, lagay rin natin yung construction of product. So, aside from the site works, pwede rin tayo maglagay ng milestone natin. Yung milestone, by the way, is an event na hina-highlight sa isang project mo. For example, project start. So, that's an event na pwede nating i-highlight. Then, for example, last concrete pouring. So, isang event din yun sa construction na pwede mong i-highlight. As well as the water tightness and the project completion. So, pwede natin ilagay mga milestone na yun dito sa ating schedule. Let's create first a WBS para sa milestone natin. So, punta tayo sa WBS. Then on our project, let's add new WBS, which is milestones. So, for the milestones, taas natin siya para maging first item siya. So, let's go ahead to activities. Ito na yung milestone na create natin. So, let's create milestone activities. So, first is yung project start. So, gusto kong i-highlight yung project start natin. Then, next is the last concrete pouring. So, ina-highlight natin yung last concrete pouring kasi parang ito yung event natin na tapos na yung structural. Next is water tightness, for example. And then last is the project completion. Now, milestones don't have durations. Meron duration itong mga activities na to. The reason behind that is because yung activity type nila is still task dependent. So, pwede natin to palitan as milestone. So, for project start, ang applicable activity type for that is start milestone. So, yung last concrete pouring naman is a finish event. So, ang applicable dyan is finish milestone. Ganun din yung ating water tightness. And then yung ating project completion. So as you can see, wala na siyang duration. And ang representation niya sa ating Gantt chart is diamond. So that's it. Meron tayong project activities. So ang next na kailangan natin gawin is determine yung duration ng each activities. For example, clearing and grabbing, ilang days ba talaga siya magte-take? Depende sa laki or sa quantity na gagawin natin. So we have many ways to determine the duration. So first, yung if meron kang project from the past, you can refer to that project. Yung pangalawa is related siya dun sa past project. No? If may experience ka na before, so you can use expert judgment to identify or to determine the duration of an activity. Then yung last is by using productivity rates. So for this example, gagamitin natin yung productivity rates to determine the duration of each activities. Now, to determine the duration using the productivity rates, pwede natin to gawin sa Excel. So, expand natin lahat kasi kung ano yung itsura niya ngayon, yun lang ikakopy niya sa Excel. So, let's right-click and expand all. So, para makita natin lahat na activities. Yan. Then, we select all of these activities. Then, copy. Then, punta tayo sa Excel natin. We can paste anywhere here. So, ito na yung ating activities. So, hindi importante itong iba pang columns na nandito. So, we can delete this. Ang i-retain lang natin is activity name and activity ID kasi nandito nakalagay yung ating mga WBS. So, ang gagawin ko muna is kokopyahin ko yung BOQ mula dito sa plano papunta dito sa Excel natin katapat ng mga activities natin. Now that we have quantities, pwede na natin ito lagyan ng productivity rate. So, let me just fix this para makita natin na ayos. So, para makompute natin yung duration, kailangan natin ng productivity. So, lagyan natin dito productivity. And yung productivity, pwede mo rin yung makompute from the past project. So, let's say, minonitor mo yung isang activity, inorasan mo, and then binilang mo kung ilan yung taong gumagawa. So, after 1 hour, ito yung na-accomplish. So, pwede mong gawin or pwede mong ma-identify yung productivity using those procedures. But for this example, meron tayong predefined productivities. So, ito. So, let's copy this para nasa isang sheet lang tayo. So, ito yung mga productivities natin. So, dito, meron tayong quantity per hour. And then, nilagyan ko na rin ng quantities per day. Assuming 8 hours yung trabaho natin sa isang araw. So, lagyan natin yung mga productivity dito. So, for the excavation, we can use, for excavation, we can use this productivity. That's 160 cubic meter per day. So, lagyan natin dito para hindi nakakalito. Unit per day to. This is a unit per day. Okay. Now, let's type in the productivity, which is 160 per cubic meter. I mean, per cubic meter per day. Next, for the backfilling. So, wala tayong backfilling dito. So, maybe we can use embankment na lang. So, that's 78. So, yun din ang gagamitin natin sa embankment. Sa gravel bedding or gravel fill, meron tayong 9.6. Okay. So, make sure lang na apple to apple yung unit of measurement ng quantities mo dun sa productivity. So, for example, ito, so naka-cubic meter tayo. So, naka-cubic meter din naman yung ating productivity. So, okay yan. Now, for the soil poisoning, meron tayo dito productivity for soil poisoning, pero in liters siya. So, this is not applicable to use para sa ating soil poisoning. So, skip muna natin yung soil poisoning. Then, punta tayo sa rebar. Sa rebar, we can use this. So, parang 1,000 kilograms per day siya. So, lagyan natin to dito. So, lahat ng rebar, ganun yung productivity. So, lagyan natin dito lahat sa lahat ng rebar natin. Then, for the concreting, so, kailangan din natin ng productivity for the concreting. Meron tayo ditong site mix concreting. Yan. So, pare-pares naman siyang 2.16 maliban sa footing, no? So, mas mabilis gawin yung sa footing. Kasi mas mataas yung productivity niya per day. So, we can use that for the footing. And then, the rest is 2.16. Now, tip lang, to simplify, pwede mo rin gamitin yung 216 sa footing para meron kang allowance sa schedule. Kasi pag mas mababa yung binigay mo, mas mahabang duration yung lalabas, and then mas may time ka or meron ka ng allowance para dun sa activity na yun. After we identify the productivity for structural, punta naman tayo sa architectural. So, kailangan natin for exterior walls. So, meron diba dito? Ito, meron tayo exterior walls. So, this is for 100 and 150. So, yung 100 usually ginagamit sa interior walls. No? Pero ang gamitin na lang natin in general is itong 150 mm. So, let's copy the 25. Lagay natin siya dito. So, parehas. Now, for the plain cement finish, so walang plain cement finish. So, we can use the cement floor finish, the 46.6. Lagyan natin dito. Yun na rin gamitin natin sa skid, sa non-skid. Then, for plain cement finish, wala rin siya. So, plaster finish pala siya. So, we can use this plaster finish, 57. So, make sure na square meters din siya. So, square meters naman tayo. So, align yung ating unit of measure dun sa ating productivity. So, for the installation of doors, so, punta tayo dito. So, for panel doors and windows, hindi applicable to gamitin kasi nakaset siya. Naka-per set siya. So, pwede natin gawin is bilangin natin yung pinto and then palitan natin ito ng unit. So, installation of doors. So, let's go back to our plans. So, ilan ba yung pinto niya? 1, 2, 3, 4. So, we have 4 doors para sa, double check natin sa architectural. So, we have 4 doors, no? So, we can replace this with 4 sets. So, para applicable na yung productivity rate na to. So, that's 8 doors per day. Now, for the installation of windows, so naka per square meter siya. So, jalousie window naman to. So, we can use this productivity, which is 2.16 square meter. Since naka-square meter din naman yung ating window. Now, for the blackboard, wala tayong productivity, I think, dito sa ating listahan. But we can generalize the blackboard. So, we can estimate the blackboard. So, kung yung blackboard natin is ikakabit na lang. So, para matansya mo yung productivity, ibase mo muna siya sa per hour. Sa isang oras, ilang blackboard yung makakabit mo. If may answer ka na doon, just multiply it by 8 hours. Then, madedetermine mo na yung per day na number of blackboard na makakabit natin. So, let's just be conservative. Halimbawa, ang isang blackboard makakabit siya ng 2 oras. So, ibig sabihin, sa loob ng 8 oras, ang makakabit mo lang na blackboard is 4. So, lagyan natin dito, 4 blackboards per day. Then, for the painting works, let's say for this one, painting works, masonry or concrete, that's 16.8. Yun na lang din na gamitin natin for the wood surface. Now, for the chipping of wall, wala naman tayong productivity for this. I think. Then, ano pa? So, meron tayo installation ng outlets. So, ito, pwede mo rin tong i-estimate. So, ilan ba per hour yung kayang ikabit ng electrician. So, for the outlets, madali lang naman to. At I think, safe na sabihin na sa isang oras, kaya niya magkabit ng 10. So, let's just be conservative. So, if 10 sets per hour, so 80 sets siya in one day. So, lagyan natin dito 80 sets. So, lahat naman to devices lang na ikakabit lang eh. So, conservative na yung 80. So, that's it. Meron tayong productivity on some of this schedule. So, we can now determine the duration. So, for the duration, ang formula lang dyan is quantities divided by the productivity. Now, ito na yung lumabas na values. So, 0.126 day. So, wala namang 0.126 day unless pag-uusapan natin is yung oras. So, ang gawin na lang natin, i-round up natin to. Yan, i-round up natin para maging 1 day na siya. If less than a day siya, gawin na natin 1 day. So, parang meron ka na ring allowance sa activity na to. So, copy natin yung formula na yan. Yan. Paste natin dito sa mga activity na may values. So, ito na yung ating mga duration. So, pwede natin siguro to ilagay sa ating schedule. So, side by side lang ulit natin yung ating schedule. Lagay natin siya rito. Now, for the excavation, 1 day lang siya. Backfilling is 1 day. Gravel bedding, 3 araw. Embankment, 2. The soil poisoning, 1 araw na lang yan.
So technically, yung ginagawa lang natin is nililipat lang natin yung na-generate nating duration sa Excel papunta sa Primavera. So I'll just speed it up para mabilis tayo.
So yan, meron tayong mga duration. So ito lang yung na-observe ko. Medyo malaki yung duration natin for the concreting. Eh, buhos lang naman to. No? So, I think we can adjust the duration for structural.
So I'll just speed it up para mabilis tayo.
So that's it. Na-adjust na natin yung structural. And that's how you put duration sa ating schedule. So medyo tedious siya pag gagamit ka ng productivity rate. Now that we have activities and duration, isa na lang yung kailangan ng Primavera para makapag-perform ng critical path method. So that is the activities relationship. So it's a way of sequencing the activities. Kung ano ba yung dapat maunang activity para makapag-umpisa yung next. So let's do that. So first, umpisa natin sa clearing and grabbing. So of course, bago tayo mag-umpisa sa site, clearing and grabbing muna tayo. So pwede natin dyan i-link yung project start natin. So yung project start kasi is the event. So pwede nating gawin na si clearing and grabbing is predecessor niya si project start. So para mag-add ng predecessor, successor, so or activity relationship, pwede tayo pumunta dito sa baba, sa details pane, and select natin tong relationships. Dito may makikita tayong dalawang space. Predecessor and successor. So yung predecessor, ito yung mga activities na kailangan mo nang matapos o kailangan mo nang mag-umpisa bago makapag-umpisa yung selected activity. Yung successor naman is yung sinusundan niya. So, for this example, gawin nating predecessor si project start. So, punta tayo dito sa predecessors and then assign. Now, select natin yung project start na activity and then ma-assign na yung activity na yon dito sa clearing and grabbing. Makikita nyo na rin na naka-assign yung activity because sa Gantt chart natin may makikita kayong arrow from this activity papunta sa next activity. Isa sa mga tip na mabibigay ko sa inyo is either mag-focus ka lang sa predecessor or mag-focus ka lang sa successor. Because if, for example, let's say sa construction ng temporary facilities, and let's say, for example, i-assign natin yung clearing and grabbing as the predecessor. Now, if we go back to clearing and grabbing, automatically in-assign na rin as successor yung construction of temporary facilities. Now, let's go back to construction of temporary facilities. Ang question natin is, ba't yung chart natin is hindi nag-move yung nilagyan natin siya ng predecessor? Expected natin na yung bar chart dapat umurong dito after ng clearing and grabbing because predecessor niya si clearing and grabbing. The reason ba't hindi pa nag-move yung ating Gantt chart is hindi pa natin nirarun yung schedule. To run the schedule, we can click this icon, yung orasan, or we can just press F9. So let's press F9 and then merong lalabas na ganitong window. On this window, we have two options. So let's select this option and then let's select a date. So anong date yung ilalagay natin? So usually yung nilalagay nating date dito is also called a data date. Or yung another term for the data date is the cut-off date or as of ganitong date. Since yung project natin hindi pa siya nag-uumpisa, so pwede nating gawing data date is September 1, which is yung start date ng ating project. So let's select September 1 and then let's click schedule. So as you can see, nag-adjust yung bar chart ng construction of temporary facilities because dapat mag-umpisa siya after matapos ng clearing and grabbing. So pwede nating i-adjust yung start date ng construction of temporary facilities using the different relationship types. So for example, i-click natin yung activity ng construction of temporary facilities. Let's go here sa predecessors. May mapapansin kayo dyan relationship type. So let's click that. Mayroon tayong 4 types ng relationship type. Yan yung FF, FS, SF, and SS. Currently, yung nakaselect is FS. Ibig sabihin yan, finish to start. Ibig sabihin, tatapusin niya muna yung clearing and grabbing bago siya mag-umpisa. Hence, the term finish to start. Ngayon, ang gusto ko, after 2 days, mag-umpisa na ako sa temporary facilities. Hindi yung uumpisan ko lang siya pagkatapos ng clearing and grabbing. So, we can do that. So, let's select start to start. Ang ibig sabihin lang nito, kailangan lang mag-umpisa ni clearing and grabbing para makapag-umpisa yung next activity. So, let's select that. And then, let's run the schedule. F9, then schedule. Yung start niya, sinabay niya sa start ng clearing and grabbing. Pero, hindi yan yung gusto nating mangyari. Gusto natin mangyari after 2 days, saka mag-uumpisa si temporary facilities. So, meron tayong tinatawag na parang waiting time na 2 days. So, yung waiting time na yun ay yung tinatawag nating log. And then, makikita natin dito siya sa baba, katabi ng relationship type. So, pwede natin diyang ilagay is 2. And then, iraran ulit natin yung schedule. Let's press F9, then schedule. As you can see, after 2 days, sa kanya inumpisahan si temporary facilities. Pero hindi niya tinapos, hindi niya kailangan tapusin si clearing para lang makapag-umpisa yung temporary facilities. So that's how you perform activity relationships. So, gawin din natin siya sa board app. So, sa board app, gawin nating predecessor si temporary facilities. Or, pwede mo rin namang gawing predecessor si clearing and grabbing. Hindi ko naman kailangan mag-rely sa temporary facilities. So, let's click assign and then click clearing and grabbing. So, this time, gusto ko tapusin muna si clearing bago ko mag-board up. So, pwede natin gawin yun. Hindi na natin babaguhin yung relationship type, which is the FS, and then we run the schedule. So, ito na yung kakalabasan ng ating schedule. Now, ito lang yung isa sa mga ways ng pag-assign ng relationship. So, pwede mo rin gawin yung pag-assign ng relationship gamit itong Gantt chart. So, for example, excavation. Saka lang ko maghuhukay if meron akong board up. So, ang gagawin ko, tatapat ko yung mouse dito hanggang mag-change yung cursor, ganito yung cursor, doon sa end ng activity. Then, idadrag ko yan papunta doon sa start ng excavation. Ibig sabihin yan, finish to start the relationship. And then we run the schedule. Ito na yung kakalabasan ng ating schedule. So, susunod siya sa construction ng board of fence. So, after natin maghukay, lalagyan na natin siya ng gravel bedding. So, since 1 day lang naman yan, if i-finish to start ko na lang siya. So, let's drag the finish to the start of gravel bedding. And then, let's run the schedule. So, hindi mo naman kailangan laging i-run ng i-run yung schedule. Pwedeng mag-connect ka muna ng activities, saka mo i-run yung schedule. So, let's try that. So, after gravel bedding, pwede na ako mag-rebar works sa footing. So, let's drag this down. And then, after ng rebar works, saka natin bubuhusan. Yung footing time beam, nakabase din naman yan dun sa gravel bedding natin. Pero pwede natin tong i-link dun sa footing natin. So for example, after matapos yung rebar ng footing, isusunod ko na yung rebar ng footing tie beam. So let's connect finish to start of the rebar works of these two structural member. Now, gusto ko after 1 day kong mag-rebar sa footing tie beam, magpuporma na rin ako. So, ang gagawin ko, I'll select the start of the rebar works and then drag it to the start of the formworks para magkaroon tayo ng start to start relationship. Then click natin yung formworks. Ito yung predecessor niya, which is the rebar works. Gusto ko after 1 day. So lalagay natin sa log 1. Then let's try to run the schedule. And then ito yung kakalabasan ng ating schedule. So dito, adjust ko yung ating activity. Kasi ang kailangan ko lang at least 1 day may gravel bed na tayo para makapag-umpisa yung rebar works ng wall footing. So ang gagawin ko rito, papalitan ko to ng start to start and then lalagyan ko siya ng 1 day na waiting time para makapag-umpisa. So let's run. As you can see, hindi naglagay si Primavera na activity sa Sunday. Ito yung effect ng ating calendar. Kung itong araw nito is non-work, hindi niya ipapasok doon yung concreting. Instead, ipapasok niya yan sa next working day, which is Monday. Now, for the concreting, syempre, kailangan tapos na yung formworks, then tapos na yung rebar works. So, pwede natin yung schedule. So, after 1 day matapos ni formworks, tapos na rin dapat yung concreting. Pwedeng ganun yung pag-schedule natin. So, if that's the case, click natin yung finish ng formworks and then drag natin sa finish ng concreting. That's what we call finish to finish relationship. Ang effect niyan, sabay matatapos ang formworks and concrete. Pero in actual, mas maganda na kinabukasan mo na bubusan. Pwede natin lagyan ng 1 day lag, maghintay tayo ng isang araw, yung finish to finish start relationship, and then i-run natin yung schedule, and then bukas na bubuhusan itong footing time na yan. Nung natapos yung footing natin, pwede na natin siyang backfillan. So, this is the concreting. So, i-drag natin yung finish ng concreting sa start ng backfilling. And then, run natin schedule. But remember, concreting has a curing time. Hindi pwedeng kakabuhos mo lang, tatabunan mo na. So, before mag-start yung backfilling, lagyan natin siya ng waiting time or lag na 7 days. At least 7 days. And we run the schedule. So, ito na yung kakalabasan ng ating schedule. So, yung backfilling, nilagay niya dito sa dulo kasi may curing time pa yung concrete natin. So, naglagay lang ako ng 7 days as conservative waiting time. Pero usually, after 2 to 3 days, pwede mo nang tabunan yan eh. But for the sake of schedule na i-commit natin kay client, mas maganda na mayroon tayong konting baon. Just in case na if nagka-issue, meron kang allowance to absorb the effect of that issue. So, lagyan na lang natin 7 days, for example. So, let's continue. Let's go back to slab on fill na tayo. So, after natin ma-backfilling, pwede na tayo maglagay ng slab on fill. So, after backfilling, connect na natin siya sa rebar. And then, aside from backfilling, meron mo tayong embankment. So, actually, yung embankment natin, pwede natin siyang i-link sa backfilling. So, i-link din natin sa backfilling. And then, i-link ko tong embankment sa rebar works. Let's run the schedule. So, nakikita na natin ngayon yung ating critical path. Ito yung ating thread activities. Pero before we discuss that, ito yung gusto kong i-point out. Let's select the rebar works. Itong rebar works na ito ng slab on fill. Kung mapapansin nyo, predecessor niya si backfilling and embankment. Ito yung tinatawag nating redundant relationship. Why? Because obviously, si embankment naman nakadepende kay backfilling. So, hindi siya matatapos hanggat hindi matatapos si backfilling. So, dapat pagdating dito sa rebar works, hindi mo nagagamiting predecessor si backfilling. So, let's remove backfilling. Kasi depende din naman siya sa completion na embankment. So, yan yung magiging schedule natin. So, compress lang natin yung ating Gantt chart. Next, gusto ko rin dito for 4 works is start to start lang tayo. And then, finish to finish tayo sa concreting. So, let's run the schedule. So, ito gusto ko lagyan to ng 1 day lag and then 1 day lag din for the concreting. So, run ulit natin. So, yung rebar works ng column, pwede nating umpisahan yan after ng first day ng buhos natin dito sa slab on fill. Then, lagay tayo ng 1. Then, yung formworks, susunod lang natin ulit yan 1 day after. And then, 1 day after yung completion ng concreting. So, may pattern na tayo. So, parang basically ganun yung ating magiging sequence structural. And then, for the beams and girders, syempre, dapat meron tayong buhos ng konkreto sa column. So, i-connect natin siya. So, start to start ulit tayo with 1 day lag. And finish to finish ulit tayo with 1 day lag. So, let's run the schedule. So, ito na yung kinalabasan ng ating schedule. So, bakit ang haba ng ating concreting? 3 days lang naman yung duration natin. Because kung mapapansin nyo sa ating Gantt chart, itong area na to is a non-working day. Ba't tayo nagkaroon ng mahabang non-working day? Remember, nung nandun tayo sa calendars kanina, sinet natin yung kalahati ng October as a non-working day due to the effect of inclement weather conditions. So that's why, in-stretch niya yung activity ng concreting, which means magbubuhos siya ng 2 araw, then yung huling buhos is after 15 days. So, okay lang yan. May baon tayo for inclement weather condition. Or if malaki yung 15 days as baon para sa inclement weather condition, we can adjust the calendar later. So, let's continue. So, after natin mabuhusan yung beams and girders, pwede na tayo maglagay ng roof truss. So, lagay natin yung roof truss. And then refresh. So, as you can see, hindi ko na binago yung relationship ng roof truss doon sa concreting. Although may curing time tayo for concreting, remember na nag-start yung concrete natin 3 days earlier. That means na at the time na mag-uumpisa si roof truss, meron ng area na na-cure na. So that's the roof truss. And then let's say after 5 days or after 7 days, mag-umpisa na si metal sheet kasi hindi naman natin kailangan tapusin yung buong roof truss bago ka mag-umpisa ng activity. Pero for this example, since mababa lang naman yung duration natin, we can link these two with the finish to start relationship. So let's run the schedule. So yan yung ginawa niya. As you can see, because of the effect of the weather condition, after 15 days, saka lang siya nag-metal sheets. So we can adjust the calendar later. Now for the gutter, so pwede natin siyang finish to finish relationship sa roof sheet. So ang gagawin natin dyan, lagay lang tayo at least 5 days or at least 3 days na completion. Yan. So didikit dyan si gutter natin. So may bubong na yung ating school building. So now that may roof na siya, pwede na tayo mag-create ng exterior walls. Okay. So, syempre, obviously, exterior walls naman natin, pwede na siyang kaibitin kahit wala pang bubong. So, pwede natin siyang i-connect sa slab on fill. So, hanapin natin yung slab on fill. Ito yung slab on fill natin, concreting. So, connect natin yung exterior walls dyan. Then, lagyan lang natin ng lag na 7 days for the curing. So, dito pupunta or dito aabot yung ating exterior walls. So, this is okay if yun naman talaga yung sequence natin. Yun naman talaga yung gagawin natin sa site. But, if gusto mong hintayin na meron na muna tayong bubong bago tayong mag-exterior walls, pwede naman natin i-link yan sa metal sheets. So, i-link na lang natin. Finish to start. And then, delete na natin yung concreting ng slab on fill. So, dyan naabot yung ating exterior walls. So, pwede natin idugtong dyan yung interior walls natin. Yan. So, syempre, after meron tayong walls, pwede na tayong mag-plain cement floor finish and plain cement plaster finish. I'm assuming itong plaster finish na to is para sa walls. So, let's connect that activity to interior walls. And then ito, mga for floor finish ito. So, balikan natin to mamaya. So, installation of doors, makakabit natin yan kapag meron na tayong bakod or meron na tayong walls. So, pwede natin itong idugtong dito, installation of doors and installation of windows. Yung blackboard, mamaya na natin ikabit. Now, for the painting works on walls, so kailangan meron ka na munang plaster. So, this is the plaster. And then, pwede natin siyang i-start-to-start relationship. Then, lagay lang natin ng at least 2 days na lag before siya mag-start. So, yan. Iuurong na niya yung activity. Now, for the painting and sealing, so wala pala tayong sealing activity, no? So, dagdag natin yung sealing activity. So, in the dry works, dadagdagan ko na isa pang activity. That's sealing works. So, for the sealing works, mag-assume na lang tayo ng duration. Let's say, 7 days. Yeah, 7 days. So, ano yung magiging predecessor ng sealing works? So, dapat meron na tayong bubong. So, lagyan natin yung bubong dito, itong metal sheets. Drag natin siya dun sa ceiling. Then, yung sealing works, drag natin dun sa painting ng ceiling. So, ito yung kakalabasan ng ating painting on ceiling. So, may mga naiwan pa tayong activities such as chipping on walls. So, of course, after natin ng exterior walls or ng interior walls, pwede natin gawin yung chipping of walls. So, for electrical conduits, pwede natin gawing predecessor is yung chipping of wall. Then, pwede natin gawing successor si ceiling works. So, para before tayo mag-ceiling is meron ng mga electrical conduits. So, i-run natin yung schedule natin. So, ito yung naging kinalabasan. So, kulang rin tayo pala na isa pang activity, which is wiring. Dagdag natin yung wiring. Yan. So, electrical wiring. So, for example, ano lang din to, let's say, 5 days. So, for 5 days, electrical wiring. Sunod natin siya sa conduits. Okay. So, and then before din siguro mag-sealing, before natin takpan, no? So, dito na lang natin ibase yung sealing. So, sa sealing, tanggalin natin yung electrical conduits. Tapos, magbase na lang tayo sa electrical wiring. So, yan ang kinalabasan. So, hindi naman kailangan mag-umpisa yung sealing after pa ng electrical wiring. So, pwede naman mag-umpisa na siya, pero hindi siya matatapos or masasarahan hanggat hindi pa tapos yung wiring. So, pwede natin to palitan ng finish to finish relationship. Yan. And then, lagyan lang natin siguro ng mga 2 araw na log bago magsara ng sealing. So that, for example, ito. For example, January 6, tapos na siya mag-wiring. So, January 9, saka niya sasara yung sealing. So, para medyo realistic pa ating schedule. So, next, after natin malagyan ng sealing, yun yung painting works. Siguro after painting, saka natin ilagay yung mga lighting fixtures. So, dugtong natin sa lighting fixtures. Lagyan lang siguro natin siya ng mga 2 lug. So, schedule ulit natin. Then, for outlets and switches naman, i-link natin siya dun sa painting works on walls. So, yung 2, i-link natin sa painting work. So, yan. So, let's run the schedule. So, ito yung kakalabasan natin. So, gusto ko idagdag do sa outlets. Syempre, kailangan may wiring tayo. So, lagyan natin yung wiring dyan. So, ba't pa natin dinagdag siya as predecessor? Kasi, what if ongoing ka na sa project and nahuli yung electrical wiring, nauna yung painting works. So, hindi niya itutulak itong outlets and switches. So, magiging out of sequence tayo. So, kaya inilink din natin yung electrical wiring sa mga outlets natin. To i-link din natin to sa switches and then pati yung lighting fixtures. So, yan yung ating schedule. So, yung mga hindi dala natin na schedule dito is ito. Installation ng storm drainage pipe. So, siguro after ng gutter, pwede na natin itong ilagay. Dapat natin yung gutter. Yan, pwede natin siya ilagay. Yan. Then, for the rail guard siguro, after siguro natin matapos yung slab on fill. So, i-run natin. Yung mga plain cement floor finish, pwede natin yung gawin. Siguro after na meron na tayong interior walls. So, i-link lang natin yan dito sa interior walls. Then, for the blackboard, siguro mas magandang ilagay na siya if meron ng pintura. So, lagyan natin siya after ng painting on walls. Kasi kakabit na lang naman yan. So, meron pa ba tayong hindi na schedule? So, soil poisoning. So, kailan ito gagawin to soil poisoning? So, siguro yung soil poisoning pwede nating gawin pagkatapos ng embankment. So, singit natin siya. Then, dun sa slab on fill, tanggalin natin yung embankment. Ang ipalit natin is soil poisoning. So, run ulit natin. So, yan ang inalabasan ng ating schedule. So, after nyan, may mga activities pa tayong hindi na nako-connect. So, for example, the last concrete pouring. Assign, then last concrete pouring. Yan. Then, for the water tightness, ito yung may windows ka na, and then meron ka na ring roof. So, assign natin dyan yung roof. Tsaka yung windows. Include na rin natin yung doors. Yan. So, next, yung project completion naman. So, sa project completion, pwede nating i-link yung lahat ng activities na walang successor sa project completion. Very ideal na sa isang schedule, dapat may isang activity lang na walang predecessor, yun yung project start. And then may isang activity na walang successor, that's project completion. So, napin natin yung mga activities na walang successor. So, like this one, like these 3 activities. So, select natin yung 3 activities and click natin tong button. Kasi hindi natin makiklik yung assign dito sa baba since 3 activities yung naka-select. So, let's select these activities and click this button. So, sa successor natin, ang ilalagay natin is project completion. Yan. So, ano pa tayo na ibang activities na walang successor? So, ito walang successor. So, lagay natin project completion. So, sa railguard, wala din. So, project completion. Sa blackboard, ganun din. Sa non-skid, wala rin. No? So, lagay din natin siya. And then, everything else ay meron ng successor. So, itong footing type yung siguro, ilink natin ito dun sa backfill. Or kahit sa embankment siya nakalink. Then, ano pa yung mga walang successor? So, ilink lang natin sa mga applicable activities. And then, itong mga milestone na to, we can also link this to project completion. Then, let's run the schedule. So, yan. So, iisa na lang yung ating activity na walang successor. That's the project completion. Adjust ulit natin yung calendar natin because parang overkill yung 15 days na baon natin sa inclement weather condition. So, let's go ahead and click Enterprise and Calendars. Select natin yung calendar natin, which is the construction calendar. So, that's for October. Gawin lang natin 7 days na non-work. So, let's select these dates and then click Standard. Yan. So, para 7 days lang. Meron din sa November. Yan. So, yun lang naman yung months na nilagyan natin ng inclement weather effect. So, let's click OK. And let's run the schedule. Yan. So, medyo lumapit yung ating completion. So, overall, we generated a 95 days duration. If ito yung ibibigay natin kay client, automatic ang iisipin na niya is, this is 3 months. But that's not the case. Kung titingnan nyo, September tayo nag-umpisa. So, that's October, November, December, January. So, it's like 4 months. But naging 4 months because we have inclement weather conditions na integrated sa schedule natin. The same time, mga holidays natin. So, that's why hindi automatically, if pinakita dito duration is 90 days, automatically 3 months siya. So, yun yung nagagawa ng calendar and yun yung advantage if we're using calendars. So, after natin magawa itong ating activities and then yung ating duration, malalaman mo yung critical path mo by looking at this Gantt chart. Yung mga red activities, yan yung ating critical activities. Then, if gusto mo lang makita yung mga activities na critical, you can filter those activities. So, we can click this button and we can select the critical activities. So, pag click natin yan, ang makikita lang natin is yung mga critical activities. Pwede ka mag-focus sa mga activities na to and i-priority mong gawin itong mga activities na to so that hindi ka ma-delay sa project. So, ibalik ko lang sa all activities. And then ngayon, meron tayong schedule. So, ano yun yung next steps natin? So, ang next objective natin is to assign this schedule as our baseline. Kumbaga yung baseline, yun yung target. Yung ginawa natin schedule na to, gawin natin siyang target. So, we can go to project and maintain baseline. So, ang gagawin natin is mag-create muna tayo ng copy ng schedule na to. So, let's do that. Let's click add. And then, lagay natin dito, save a copy of current project as a new baseline. So, we can rename this. Pwede natin itong i-rename. Baseline schedule. So, close. Then, on the project, click naman natin yung baseline. Then, i-assign natin yung ginawa nating baseline dito sa project na to. So, as project baseline, select natin yung ginawa nating baseline schedule. Sa primary, lagay din natin yung baseline schedule natin. Then, let's click OK. And that's it. That's how you create a schedule for a one-story school building. So, kahit anong construction projects, same yung process ng paggawa ng schedule. Now, if gusto mo pang matuto about Primavera Physics tutorial, check out this video and magandang starting point to if nag-aaral ka mag-Primavera Physics. So that's it for this video and see you on the next one.